Hi, welcome back to Grand Prix Gal, your home for all things Formula One. So I just want to discuss the 2024 Singapore Grand Prix at Marina Bay. One of the most iconic night races on the calendar. Of course, Las Vegas is the number one night race, in my opinion. And I just want to do a sort of a race recap because the 2025 race is coming up October 3rd through the 5th. So you have over a week to prepare for that race. Um, so just a little recap so you understand from year over year what's different, what's changed. And not a whole lot changed this year other than lots of new rookies and six rookies to be exact. And they're making names for themselves. I have my favorites, of course. So anyway, this race, the Singapore 2024 race, had everything: a dominant performance at the front, strategy gambles that didn't pay off, some fast driving that did pay off, a few brushes with the wall here and there. So let's break it all down. So qualifying on Saturday set the stage for what we saw Sunday. Lando put in one of the best stunning laps to grab pole position with a minute 29.525 seconds. His second pole of the season. So yeah, that was really good for McLaren at the time. And he was, for some reason, just felt like he and Oscar, I don't know, they were buddy buddy and then not. But anyway, behind him was Max. Max took the second uh, position of the front row, and then Lewis started from third. So that was really good. He was with Mercedes at the time, 2024. Oscar, meanwhile, had to settle for fifth because he had a messy session, and that meant Norris had the best possible launch pad for the race. So the race start when the lights went out. Norris made a perfect getaway and immediately controlled the pace from the front, and then Max tucked in neatly behind him, and Lewis. He kind of looked threatening into turn one, but couldn't make the move stick. And it's hard to make a move stick when you are trying to make a move stick on Max, because Max rather is very clever, one of the best on the grid, and just overall one of the best drivers. If you watch a lot of videotape, you'll see that. I mean, you can go back 20, 30 years, and Max has just got it. And so Max, so McLaren wound up pulling away, and then we get to the mid race, and the middle phase of the race was really, you get to a point where they had to start managing their tires, and there are lots of close calls at the time. On lap 29, that's where Norris clipped the wall at turn 14. He damaged his front wing, but it was more cosmetic than anything that impacted the speed or the performance of the vehicle or the car. And then around lap 45, he had another near miss at turn 10. Both times, Lando managed to keep his composure because a lot of times he doesn't maintain his composure. And it seems like he and Oscar was last year. They were just going back and forth at it, and something was going on. I don't know what, but this year is a little bit different. McLaren's strategy has changed. They modified their strategy, their entire approach for the season this year. But at any rate, Lewis's race started to unravel thanks to a bold but questionable Mercedes strategy. So Mercedes strategy is always questionable in my opinion. I always feel like Lewis needs to put his foot down. It doesn't matter where he is now that he's at Ferrari, but I think Lewis needs to say, "This is what I want, and this is what we should do," and because he's driving the car. I think sometimes you just have to put your foot down. If you feel like you need to be on mediums and you're on softs, or you're on softs and you need to be on mediums, then I think as a driver, you need to say that. I know it's a team sport, but sometimes you know best because you're out there driving. Like, I'm not an expert, but I just know I'm driving my car. I know what I need. I know when my brakes are bad or something. I know. You go to the mechanic, you tell them whatever, and they question everything, but they're not driving the car. You drive the car every day. Anyway, I digress. So they put him on soft. Mercedes put him on soft tires to start, hoping for an early advantage. Instead, it forced him into an earlier pit stop and left him struggling later in the race. So after starting third, Hamilton eventually slipped back to sixth. Meanwhile, Oscar was steadily climbing from fifth. So he passed Charles Leclerc, then set his sights on Russell to grab the final podium spot. By the closing stages, the two McLarens were firmly in control of the first and third. So McLaren, that was just what happened with them all last year in 2024. They were always first, second, third, or something. They were always in the big points. And then the finish. After 62 laps under the lights, Norris crossed the line first, nearly 21 seconds clear of Verstappen. That is a big gap. Then Oscar completed the podium, making it a double celebration for McLaren. And on the podium steps, you can see the relief and pride on Norris's face. Not just a win, but a statement performance. And so here are the top 10 finishers and the points awarded. So Lando, 25 points. This is 2024. I'm just giving you a recap for, for next week's race. So Lando, 25 points. Max, 18 points. Oscar, 15 points. George Russell, 12 points. Charles Leclerc, 10 points. Lewis Hamilton, 8 points. Carlos Sainz, 6 points. Fernando Alonso, 4 points. Nico Hulkenberg, 2 points. And Sergio Checo Perez, 1 point. And a special mention goes out to Hulkenberg, who snatched points for Haas in ninth. So what else happened last year? It was a big win for Lando. Not only was it his most dominant drive in Formula One so far, but it also cut Max Verstappen's championship lead down to 52 points with 6 races left. Didn't matter. In the end, it didn't matter. In the constructors' battle, McLaren extended their advantage over Red Bull, strengthening their claim to the title. So, yeah, that mattered. The bigger picture, Norris has momentum, or had momentum. He then proved that he could dominate Max on pace, not just on strategy or luck. And then the season moved into its final stretch, and the title fight was still alive, still had life. And that was about it. Lando first, Max second, and Oscar third. And yeah, that was it. So I hope you enjoyed it and understood it. I'm all over the place. But, hit the like, please subscribe. I have 3 subscribers. I need 3 more, or 3,000 more, or 300 more, or 3 more, or I just need more. I have 3. It's funny to me. I know all 3 of the subscribers too. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you after the 2025 Singapore Grand Prix.